Hello everyone. In this particular tutorial, we are going to discuss about files and how Python is handling to dealing with the files. So when we're talking about files, there are certain criteria. You can create a file, or you can update a file, or you can read a file, and we can override the existing file. Pretty much the same concept applies to the directory as well. You can create a directory, or you can delete the directory, you can rename the directory. All such things it comes under files. Okay, so the basic thing which you're going to cover here, we are going to create a file and we are going to read the data from it, and we are updating or appending, and you're deleting the file. Okay, okay, let's start from some basic rules. When we're talking about Python and files, there are four different set of modes available. The first one is R, read mode, and the second one is A, append mode, and then W, which is write mode, and the final one is X, that means create. Okay. Apart from these four, we do have something else as well. We have something called T and B. T for text and B for binary. Binary mostly used for image processing and all. Okay, and those two can comes with or A, W, or X. Okay, okay, let's go and see a real-time example. Okay, so throughout this course I'm going to use a visual code editor. Okay, if you're not comfortable with the visual code editor, you can still use the idle, which is the inbuilt IDE for Python. You can use that. Okay, so if you want to know how to set up idle, just go through my a basic tutorial video, and there we have the setup videos and how to install the Python and how to work with the IDE and everything. Okay, okay, here let me create a new file, and I'm going to name it read file dot py. Okay, cool. So I need a file to read now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a file as well. Or I have another file here, readme.txt. I can use this. Hi, welcome to Python. Come to Python course, and good luck. Okay, so now we have a file name called readme.txt, which contains some text. Okay, now I'm going to read the file. But before, as I mentioned, the four modes or A, W, X. There we have some few restrictions as well. Okay, when you trying to read a file with R mode, if the file does not exist, it will end up with an error. It will say error if the file does not exist in the system. And the same way, A, it will try to open a file and update some content. In case the file does not exist, it will create the file and update the data. And the W, which is write mode, and it will open an existing file. In case the file does not exist, it will create the file and write the data. Like pretty much the append and write work on the same way. Okay, and the X will create a specific file. What will happen? The file is existing. The file name is already existing. It will throw an error. The file is existing. Okay, these are the four important things which you need to remember. Okay, let's go. Okay, readme.txt here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the file. One second. Okay, so what is the syntax? Whenever you are trying to do something, you need to know the basic. The first thing is syntax. So what is the syntax to read a file? Okay, so the syntax is open and the file name and the mode. As a first parameter, the file name, which contains the path as well. Okay, and the second one is mode. So what we are trying to do, are we trying to read a file, or are we trying to append something, or are we trying to create something? So that will comes here. Okay, let me try to read the file. Open, and we all know the file name. So my file name is readme.txt, and the mode which I needed in read mode. Since it's a text, you can provide T, and it is not mandatory. You can keep it simple. Or okay, so it will open a file and it will hold the data. But where I need to save the data? I need a variable to save the data, right? So here I can have file equal open, and this will open a file, and that data will be stored in the file name, the variable name called file. Okay, how to print the data? Okay, the file is open, it is there in my variable. I want to read the content. So how we are going to do that? So you have to print the file, but it won't print the content. So you need to use the read method, which will help us to read the content from the text file. Okay. Okay, let me run this. Okay, right click and Python, run Python file in terminal. See what happened here? Hi, welcome to Python course. Good luck. So this is a way to read a file. Okay, let me stop here. We don't want to mess up everything in a single video. So in the next video, what we are going to discuss, again we are going to discuss about the file, but there we are going to read the file, append the file, and override the file, and create the file. Okay, let's see each other in the next video. Welcome back. So we are going to update an existing file. We know that we have a file name called readme.txt. So I'm going to update something into that file. Okay, so this is my existing content. Hi, welcome to Python course. Good luck. So I'm going to add a content here, the course created by Arun. Okay, so how are we going to do that? As I said in the earlier, the mode is matters. Okay, so you need to use mode A. It's for updating an existing file. Okay, okay, so now I need to provide the content to write. Okay, file dot write. So what is the content? Mm, creator by Arun. Yes, Amasa. Okay, cool. Now let's run this and we'll see whether the file got updated. Save it, right click and run Python file in terminal. Okay, it's ran. Let's open the file and see. Wow, cool, right? Created by Arun Amase. The file got updated, but it looks little bit clumsy here, right? It should be the next line. So how do we do that? We can use simply the escape characters or next line characters. Okay, what you can simply do, you can use the \n, which is allowing the file to move into the next line or allowing the line to create the next line. Save it and run it again. Run Python in file terminal. It is done. Let me open the file. Wow, pretty cool, right? Hi, welcome to Python course. Good luck and the content which I newly updated. Okay. And another important thing, whenever you working with files, once the process is done, make sure the file closed properly, or else when you are working with the multiple files, the changes will not reflect properly. Okay, now we know how to read a file and how to update a file. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to override the file. So how are we going to do that? We know the mode W, which is nothing but override the content. Let's do that. Okay, here let's keep that as a file1, file1, file1. Now I need to have another file which is called as file2. I'm going to use the same readme file, but the mode is different now. It is going to be W. Save it, and you need to provide the content to write. File 2 dot write and the content. Oops. Content deleted. And make sure we are closing the file properly. So the file 2 has been closed. Before running this particular program, let's comment all of them. Okay, so now we have an existing file called readme and it has some content. So I'm going to override it now. Right click and we can simply put a message here because we don't know what is happening exactly. So file updated or overridden. Click and run your file overridden. Let's open the file and see what happened. Oh my god, where is my content? This is called overriding the file. It will replace all the content and it will write new content. Okay, that is pretty cool, right? So we know how to read a file and we know how to update a file and we know how to override a file. Okay, let's comment this. Now write a logic to create a file. So I'm going to keep the name as file3 and open. Instead of readme, I'm going to use test1.txt and the mode has to be X, which is used for creating a file. What will happen if the file is existing? It will end up with an issue. Okay, let's try that. What will happen? So I have a readme.txt here. Okay, let me put it here. Readme.txt. One second. File3, open readme.txt, which is existing, and let's run this. What is happening? See the error message. File exists and the file name readme.txt. That is the impact of mode X. X will create a file. In case if it is existing, it will throw an exception saying the file is existing. Okay, so let's put test01.txt. Now let me run this. Run Python file in terminal. Process is done. Okay, so where the file got created? See, the file is created here, but the file is empty. The reason is I haven't write anything into this particular file. Okay, let me try to update something. Okay, if you want to update the file, you need to use A, right? And then let's write something into the file tree. Write and simple message, I am a test file. Save it and make sure you will close the connection properly to avoid some consequence. Right click and run Python file in terminal. Done. Okay, let's go ahead and open the test01.txt. See, it's pretty cool, right? So I'm a test file. So now we know how to create a file and how to write the file and read the file and update the file, everything. Okay, so as a programmer, most of the people will facing one issue when we are working with the files, which is nothing but the path. What will happen? I need to and go back to one folder and read a file from there, or go inside a folder and read a file. So in the next video, we're going to discuss about how we are going to read the file in different location. Okay, let's meet each other in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome back. So we are going to continue the file here. So what I'm going to do is, let me show you where my files are saved. Okay, in my C drive, I have a folder called Python. Inside the Python, I have Python advanced tutorial folder. Inside, I have all the files which we created recently. Okay, so you can read a file from here. You don't have any issues at all. Okay, so what will happen in case if I want to write a file or read a file from the previous folder? Okay, like in the Python folder, let's have another text file here. Saying okay, base file. So and you can write something here. I am from base file content. Save it and close. Okay, since if you're reading a file from the same folder, you don't have to provide any path here. Okay, but in case if you want to read a file from other locations, in this situation, the folder is our program is pointing to this particular folder, Python Advanced Tutorial. If I'm reading a file here, I don't have to provide anything, but I'm going back to one folder and read a file from here. Correct? So how I'm going to do that? Okay, let's do that. Let me comment everything here. So let's have a branch new. Okay, let me have a file name. File name is equal to, so we know what is our file name, right? So our file name is basefile.txt. Basefile.txt. So and I'm going to write the same logic here to read a file. File open in, I'm going to open it in a read mode because I'm going to only read the data. And here you don't have to provide the file name because I have a variable which holds the variable, I mean the file name v. Okay, let me try to print the data. File 1 dot read. Okay, save it and let me run this. Run Python file in terminal. Have you seen the error message here? No such file or directory, because the file is not existing in my current location. It is there in my previous folder. So how to retrieve your file which is there in the previous folder? Simple thing, you need to use the backslash here and two dots here. That means two dot indicates one folder behind. If you want to go another folder, you can provide another double dot because that means two folders behind. Okay. Now I have only one. I'm from this current location. I'm going back to one folder and I'm reading the base file.txt. Okay. Save it and run this. Run Python file in terminal. See, now we got the data. I'm from base file content. The base file which is not existing in current location is there in my previous folder. So I'm able to read the file. Okay, let's keep it another file from two folders base level. Okay. Okay. So I'm here. So through this file, I'm reading this file. I'm going one more step back and I'm going to create a file here. So I'm going to have a name called global file and I'm going to write something. I am from global file and close it. Let's copy the name. Okay, so since I'm going back one folder, I'm using only two dots. I'm going back another folder. So what you're gonna do is just use another slash and another folder, two dots. Okay, and the file name is global file.txt. It's interesting, right? Let me run this. I'm from global file. Wow, it is pretty cool. This is where most of the programmers will get confused how I'm going to retrieve, because it will work in other way also, because you can give the file name like this also. You can provide the file name like this with the entire path, which is not advisable because it will work only on Windows. It won't work on other systems like Linux or Mac. Now we read the file from one folder behind or two folders behind. Okay, I have a folder inside my current directory. So how I'm going to read that? Okay, I'm going to my folder. It is there in my C drive and Python. So this is my current directory, right? Okay, I'm going to create a folder here, subfolder 1, and here I have another text file called subfile 1, and the message I'm from subfile 1, and close it. So copy the folder name. So how are we going to handle this? Okay, I'm going to create another set of file name 1 here. Since I'm going inside my current directory, I don't need to use this. I just have to provide my folder name. What is my folder name? Subfolder 1, and my file name subfile 1. Let me run this, we'll see. Right click and run Python file in terminal. See, I got a data. I'm from global file and I get both from global file. Okay, my bad. I didn't update the file name here. Okay, save it and right click and run it again. See, I'm from global file from the first one and I'm from subfile 1 from my subfolder 1. Let's do another thing. I'm going to create another folder inside my subfolder, subfolder 2, and another text file here, and we all know what the name is gonna be, subfile 2, and I am from subfile 2. Save it and close it, and let's go back to our script. So I'm going to copy this set. Okay, file name 2, 2, 2, and file name 2 here. Save it, and another subfolder here, subfolder 2, and my file name is subfile 2. Okay, let me save it and run it again. Run Python file in terminal. See the outcome. I'm from global file, which is there in my C drive, and this is a message from my subfolder 1, and this is the message from my subfolder 2. Okay, as I said earlier, you can directly use the path as well, like just go here, and this is my, you can directly provide the file name with the entire path. This is also work, but as I said earlier, this is not preferable. The reason is it will work only on the Windows platforms, not other platforms. Got it? Just give it a try and let me know, because the path, it will be a little bit confusing in the beginning. So you just need to keep on try with the different operations, and let me know if you guys are stuck somewhere. Okay, thank you. We'll see each other next week. Welcome back, everyone. So as a part of file handling in Python, the last topic which is going to be working with directories. Okay, I'm going to create a new script. I'm going to create a new file called delete folder or file .py. Okay, so what basically we are trying to do is, I have a folder or I have a file I want to delete permanently. Through Python, how we are going to do that? And keep one thing in your mind. When you are trying to delete a file, you are trying to delete file from the hard disk. So you are deleting the file from your OS. Okay. Once the file is deleted, it cannot be retrieved again. Okay. So how are you going to do that? Okay. Delete a file. First thing we always need, what is the file I want to delete? So I have a file. We have a file called readme.txt. Let's delete readme.txt. Let's open the file here. So this is my readme.txt, right? And also it's here. We can verify in both the places. First thing, I need to import a package, which is nothing but OS. It will give us the permissions to delete the files from the hard disk. And another thing, what is the file which I'm going to delete? We need to have the file name. As we discussed, I'm going to delete readme.txt file from my device. How to delete it? It is simple. os dot you need to use the remove and the file name, and then you can save it. Okay, this is very simple. You need simple thing. You have method called remove, and you need to pass a parameter which is nothing but the path which contains the file name. So when I run this program, this particular file has to be deleted. Just right click and run Python in file terminal. It is done. Where is the readme here? It is removed. You can check in the hard disk as well. See, the readme file is missing here. It was there earlier. After we ran the program, it got deleted. Okay, I let me have a file called readme.1, and the file is not existing here. Let me run this. What will happen? The system cannot find the file specified. That means it is saying the file does not exist. If the file does not exist, I cannot delete. Okay, so we cannot send an error message like this. We need to give the proper error message. So we need to handle this scenario. How we can do that? We can check whether the file or the path is existing. Can you say if os dot path dot exist, and you need to provide the file name here. If it is existing, it will remove the file. What will happen? If not, just send an error message. I mean proper error message. File does not exist. Simple, right? Simple change. It makes sense. Let's clean this. Okay. Now I don't have a file called readme.1. Okay, let's put a message here also. File deleter. Right click and run. It's a proper error message. File does not exist. It's good. Okay, let me create a file called readme1. readme1.txt. Okay, there's no, you can check in the hard disk as well. Readme1, it is created. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you is I have a file name. I'm running the program again. Now it has to be delete the file, and it will give us a message file deleted. Right click and run Python. File deleted, and also the file deleted from our disk. The file is not here. Okay. Similar way, we can delete a folder as well, but make sure the folder is empty. Let me create a folder here. New folder. Delete me. So I have a folder called delete me. So I have folder name equal to delete me. We can use the same logic. Folder name, and when we delete the file, we used a method called remove. But when you're trying to remove a directory, you need to use rm directory. os.rm directory, and you need to provide the folder name. And the error message print folder deleted successfully, or else path does not exist. Save. For now, I'm commenting this one because our focus is on deleting the folder. Right click and run Python. Folder deleted successfully, and the delete me folder is missing here. You can check in the system as well. So where's the delete me here? It is missing. Let me try again. Delete me. The folder is created again. and you can refresh here. You can see the delete me again here, and I'm gonna run this again. See, the delete me is missing here, and if you go back and see, the folder also deleted. So this is how we need to work with files. So as I mentioned in the initial video, if you wanted to be an expert in a particular program, you need to know how to handle the exception. Because here, if the file is not existing, I'm just simply saying path does not exist, but we need to properly send an exception message, like saying the file not found error or path does not exist in a proper way. Okay, so all those things we will discuss under exception handling part. I'll hope so far you guys following me, and let me know if you guys stuck somewhere. Okay, thank you. Let's meet each other in the next video.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her in a Benz.